Well, hello there, Sagittarius. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing your March 2024 Tarot reading. So we'll take a look first at the overall energy with the Oracle cards, and then we'll move to the Tarot for more details about any obstacles on your path or areas of resistance, and of course, advice from Spirit about how you can move forward towards what it is that you're trying to manifest in your life. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take a look at that overall energy. Choosing your path, all is possible, and Canary Spirits, sing your own song. My goodness, Sagittarius, you have just had these profound readings ever since Pluto went into Aquarius back in January. This is the energy where you really are having an opportunity to choose a new path that is truly in alignment with what it is that your heart truly desires. So just to recap, Pluto was in Capricorn from 2008 until about a month ago, right? And that was a really an energy of holding you back, making you feel confined, like there were certain rules that you had to follow, and really hindered your energy about being able to be your true authentic self and find the success that you were looking for in the world. And this is the energy since Pluto went into Aquarius back on January 21st. This is the energy, and if you look at it, this is the number 12, and 12 reversed is 21. Very much Aquarian energy coming in here, allowing you to step onto a new path. I feel like this is a new path that's opening up for you, that's truly in alignment with what it is that your heart truly desires, that allows you to be your authentic self. Whereas perhaps it's not that you maybe haven't had any success, whether that's in your career, your life purpose, life in general, romance, relationships. It's not that maybe you haven't had any success, but you've had success in finding a path up to this point that you have the fork in the road coming out right away. Finding a path that allowed you to be who you truly are. So that Pluto and Capricorn energy, you could have had success in life, but it was only when you were playing by the rules of, the career, sector that you were in, whether that was the corporate world or, feeling like you had to play by some rules in order to find that success, but those rules may not have necessarily been in alignment with what you truly believe for yourself, right? They may not have been in alignment with your core values. And not to say that you were being inauthentic, but sometimes, right? Unfortunately, sometimes in order to find enough success to be able to continue on our path, we sometimes have to conform to the rules or the mindsets of the people around us, whether that's family, friends, our work environment. This feels very career oriented, okay? I'm not saying it can't be a relationship, but to me, this is very much career oriented, and putting yourself onto a new path, allowing a path to open up. The universe is opening up a path so that you can be your true authentic self. You can sing your own song. You don't have to play by the rules of other people or society or the career sector that you're in, right? You don't have to play those rules anymore. You can be your true authentic self. You can speak. This is about speaking, singing your own song, speaking your truth, no longer having to hide how you feel, just in order to feel like you're safe and secure in whatever sector that you're in. As far as, once again, I feel this is kind of like career oriented or lifestyle and, the way that you want to live your life. Okay, so let's go to the Tarot. Let's see where this is going. Okay, this is just so amazing. It's just so profound. Okay, you have the fork in the road. You're coming up to a decision, having to choose a path, right? This is literally choosing a path, and it's choosing a path. Are you going to repeat what you have been able to find success in? Okay, are you going to stay on the path of playing by the rules, staying safe, right? Allowing yourself to stay safe and play by the rules of, you know, the world or the career that you're in, you know, the business world of wherever you are, you know, and that depends on the sector. Like if you're in the entertainment sector, right, there's probably a lot of networking and schmoozing that maybe you have to do, right, in order to get, you know, deals done or whatever. If it's an artistic or, you know, business like corporation, there's different rules of the game depending on the sector that you're in. And this is asking you, you know, do you want to continue playing by those rules, or are you willing to step into this energy of being your true authentic self? The Nine of Pentacles is the energy of allowing yourself to go on a new path, of freeing yourself, okay? The Nine of Pentacles is very independent, knowing that if you go on this path that you're going to be financially okay, and you're going to, you know, this is the Queen of Pentacles Junior, right? So it's kind of like you're building something new, and allowing yourself to step into the energy of truly being your authentic self, of not holding back, especially when it comes to speaking your truth, allowing people that you work with to understand who you are, your true authentic self, and not being afraid that if you speak your truth, you'll be, you know, ostracized or abandoned, rejected by the people that you work with. Yeah, this is it's a tower moment. It is a tower moment. I feel as if, okay, there's a little bit of energy where you have the Emperor, and the Emperor represents, right, the business world or somebody that holds the money. In this case, it could be a client, it could be a boss, it could be the career that you're in, you know, that whole mentality of the career sector that you're in. But look at this, you have the Five of Swords, and then you have the Three of Swords. You know, I feel like you're kind of coming into something where you're going to have to make a decision, where it's kind of like, okay, am I going to break my own heart by allowing myself to continue playing it safe and hiding my true authentic self? Am I going to continue breaking my own heart? Because the Emperor plays, you know, this is a little bit of that energy that the Emperor plays at all costs. That, you know, what is that saying? There's no rules in love and war or something like that. It's very much that energy of the Emperor gets his way or her way, but the Emperor gets his way, and it always breaks your heart because you can't be your true authentic self. And I think for some of you, you may be deciding almost like instantly, right? It is very similar to the energy. I mean, I've told this story before. I'm a retired school teacher, but I retired earlier than I wanted to. And the reason is because it was during the pandemic, but right before school was supposed to start, they came out with a new rule about how school was going to work, starting the school year off, that was not in alignment with what I believed, my core values as a person, as a teacher, as a mom, as a grandmom. I was just like, no, this really and truly doesn't work for me. And I went in to talk to the principal, and it was just kind of like almost spur of the moment. I said, no, I can't do this. And I would never, I had signed a contract and everything. I would never break a contract, but in that case, they were also putting the administrators back into the classroom because, you know, that was just the times. Let's put it that way, right? So this is the energy where I feel like you hit some epiphany. You either have some epiphany or some situation is going to occur on your path where it's time to choose. And it's kind of like, are you going to allow yourself to stay in another round of not being your authentic self? Or are you going out on your own, perhaps even starting your own business, right? But definitely going in a different direction and saying, no, this is it. And even I'll have to admit, when I made that sudden decision, the other thing is that I had already been pushed. It was not just like everything was hunky-dory and I was like, oh yeah, that's okay, I can handle this. There were already so many things that I felt like I wasn't able to speak up and be the teacher that I truly wanted to be because of the confinements, okay? There's that Capricorn energy, right? The confinements of the school system. And so I feel like this is this is like the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? And it's just that energy. It's kind of like, I can't do this any longer. I'm just moving further and further away from my true authentic self. Okay, so let's take a look at what your obstacle is. Yeah, I think that for some time you have known that this is something that you need to leave, right? Time to go. That it's been a long time coming. It's not just, this is really the straw that breaks the camel's back, you know? It's something that you're just kind of like, no, that's it. You've pushed me to the limit. I'm done. I'm out of here. Yeah, and having the strength to leave. I think it's been, I think because of that Pluto and Capricorn energy and feeling like you didn't have any other options, okay? That you have been playing by the rules only because that was kind of like what was called for during the time, right? Because, you know, you may have had a family to feed, or, you know, we all have to live in the 3D world. So you were kind of like continuing to be able to align yourself in a safe position where you understood maybe that you weren't truly in alignment with yourself, but you also weren't so far off from who you truly are that you could kind of like compromise, right? You were in a position where you could compromise, but now you're being pushed to your limits. And also with Pluto moving into Aquarius, there are new options coming available to you. Like you're no longer confined by that Capricorn energy. And it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Now it's, you know, things are opening up for you. Now, I'm going to say, if some of you say, there are no other options available to me, this is kind of one of those moments where when you say no to something, all of a sudden, new options open up to you. And you may not see that coming. I'll have to say, I had that same experience about 3 weeks ago, and something came onto my path, and it was a good opportunity. I'll have to say, it was a good opportunity. But when I really kind of like, you know, talked to my guides and used my intuition, I could tell that I was at a crossroads, that if I took that opportunity, that it was going to be successful. It was going to keep me safe, right? But it wasn't really and truly in alignment with what I am here to do, right? It wasn't in alignment with my true authentic self. It wasn't way off from my true authentic self, but that there was another path that would open if I would allow myself to say no to that. And I did say no to that. And I will have to admit that the last couple of weeks, these magical things are happening. And it's the same thing for you. I had to trust. I had to surrender and trust. And that's exactly what I did. And I feel like you may be in a little bit of that same position where you don't see other options available to you at all at this time. But it's because you first have to say no to something that isn't truly in alignment with who you are. And here you come. Yeah, you're walking away. You're taking, look at this. You're walking away from somebody or something that seems to be holding the purse strings. Okay, that's why I feel like this is career. Look at where you're going. You have the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, and Archangel Michael, the Temperance energy, your energy here, and also progress, the Four of Wands, the Nine of Cups. This is beautiful energy letting you know that it's okay to say no to something. If, you know, your boss comes in and says, you know, that blah, 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 and you're kind of like, that just doesn't even resonate with who I am, right? And you're just kind of like, I have to say no to that, because there are other options of opening up for you. And there's one spectacular option, but it may not be on your path quite yet. Okay. It's kind of like you have to get past this. And I don't want to say it's a test, Sagittarius. I don't want to say it's a test, but it's a little bit of that energy, right? Knowing that you are in a fork in the road. It's kind of like, you know, when I saw this for myself, I saw the fork in the road as the 3D and the 5D. And I feel like that's a little bit of your energy of understanding, am I taking the safe path? Am I going to allow myself to just stay safe? Or am I ready for some adventure? And I feel like all is possible, right? All is possible. You are ready for this adventure. Okay, so let's take a look at what your advice is here. Yeah, no place like home. The Hermit energy. Okay, the wise one. Listening to your own intuition when this situation occurs. Allowing yourself to weigh the options. I feel like there is this situation. I went through that, and I'll have to say it was like 3 or 4 days where I just really sat and thought about it, right? And allowing yourself a little bit of time. You know, don't feel like when this situation is offered to you, this situation that's not really in alignment with you, that you have to say no right at the moment. If you need to, take a little bit of time if you have the ability to do that, to weigh the options, to understand that you are truly at a crossroads. This is a crossroads that will kind of change the outcome of where you are going. And yeah, Hanged Man, looking at things from a different perspective, truly allowing yourself to sit there and weigh the options, look at things from a different perspective. I'll have to admit, when I said no to the thing that I said no to a couple of weeks ago, I really felt like I was closing a path that I couldn't perhaps ever go back to, right? It was cutting something off that I thought, wow, that I'm truly cutting off an option. You know, it was one of those moments. And at the same time, I just knew if I went on that path, all I was doing was trying to stay safe, that I was allowing myself to not have an experience that was on a much higher vibrational level. So, but we all have to make choices, right? It's about allowing yourself to go within, okay? Go within and perhaps not spend too much time thinking about the external forces around you, asking yourself, you know, what path do you feel is the best for you? And for some of you, if you have the burden of having family members that depend on you, or you know, situations in your life where it is a really difficult thing to go out on your own, and maybe you do feel like you need to stay on a safe path for a little while longer, then allowing yourself to weigh those options and then to choose the path that is best for you. We all have free will. And so if you're choosing to stay safe, you know, allowing yourself that, you know, that choice, and allowing yourself to say, this is my choice, and then not regretting the other choice. And if for some of you, if you're closing off the staying safe route, right, and choosing something new, then really also saying, okay, I'm allowing myself to surrender to this new path, and I'm not going to second guess, right? Because this back and forth can be a little bit of second guessing. Don't allow yourself to get into the second guessing. Go in. Whatever decision you make, do it. All in. Yes. Oh my goodness. This is the dropping the burdens. I feel like for some of you, there's a sense of codependency here, okay? Because the 10 of Wands can be a sign of, like, you know, burdens, that you're carrying the burdens of other people, you know, or mindsets, rather than, you know, this is the burden of feeling like you have to play it safe instead of being your authentic self. It's also the burden of of feeling like, you know, you could be in some type of codependent type of relationship, especially in your career sector, right? Something where you're feeling as if you stay and play by the rules, that you'll be successful, right? But there's something that you're compromising in order to have that acknowledgement or that success, that victory. I think that this is your soul calling you and asking you, you know, are you really willing to compromise your core values in order to stay on this path? Because we have a lot of people here in a way, and I'm not saying that these have to necessarily be people in your life, but I feel like these are some of the characteristics, okay, or some of the traits within yourself that are being highlighted at this time as you are surrendering to this journey. The Moon card, you don't know where this path is going to go. It's just like when I retired early. I had no idea. I mean, I really didn't. I left my principal's office and I was like, now what, right? I mean, it really was so out of the blue. And fortunately, I was, you know, it's just me. So I didn't really have the burden. I figured, you know, I just kind of like surrendered to it. I knew that probably wouldn't have popped out of my mouth at that time. You know, it wasn't, I really had thought about it the night before. I had been up all night, but it is that energy of allowing ourselves to say, I've had enough. I can no longer stay on this path because it is so detrimental to my own core values, to my own soul, to what my heart truly desires. Seeing clearly how a past situation where you've been trying to stay safe, right, has provided you perhaps financial security with the Queen of Pentacles, but also this draining you of your sense of life purpose, right? Your sense of loving what you do, this sense of fulfillment. And so you're kind of like allowing yourself to weigh the options, right? Which one is more important to me? Is it staying completely safe, right? Although, I mean, I'm not going to say the Queen of Pentacles isn't a good energy, but that's a safe life. That doesn't have any sense of adventure. She's home and hearth, right? She's responsible, she's reliable. That's not a bad energy. But then you have the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is somebody that kind of loves life, you know, stepping into this energy of weighing the options. Do I want to stay safe, or do I want to make the best out of this lifetime that I have here, right? And allowing yourself to kind of go in the direction that is best for you at this time. Remember, that is totally up to you. You're being asked to listen to your own heart at this time, your own intuition, your own wisdom, and allowing yourself to make this decision. For most of you, or many of you, I feel like you are saying, yes, it's time for something new. I'm no longer willing to compromise myself in order to just have financial stability. There's more to it. I also feel like when you allow yourself to go into this new path, you had the 10 of Pentacles, right? And the 10 of Cups. You find financial security, wealth, but you also find a sense of fulfillment and joy, abundance, right? And love, you know, something that really feels good to you and to your core values. All right, so Sagittarius, let's pull a soul truth card for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. Who am I ready to forgive? Okay, this is really interesting because I am not what happened to me. I am who I chose to become. It is time to let go, forgive, and move onward. Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? That is the key here. I feel like you've stayed in a position for so long, right? And if you're having that moment where it is, you know, breaking the stick that broke the camel's back, it's the last straw, right? That is the energy I had when I retired early. And I think that it is that energy where we try to stay somewhere. We try to get it to work out, right? And sometimes when we finally say, that's it, we can fall into an energy of regretting that we stayed so long, especially when it works out really well, right? It's kind of like, why did I stay so long? But also understanding that you're trying to stay in this situation. There is something that you're gaining from the situation. Even if it's just that you're making enough money to pay your bills and, you know, take care of your financial matters, which is important, right? But you're also understanding. I think you're getting to the point where it's kind of like, I can't take this anymore because it's so far out of alignment from where my soul wants to go. But allowing yourself to forgive yourself for staying maybe what you're considering longer than you should have. Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Look at it from the shoes of the other person and what you learned. Who do you want to become? And how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? And that's exactly what this is about, right? You're resisting. You've stayed in this situation. You're resisting moving out of it and towards something that really is in alignment with what your soul wants. But it's not about regretting that. It's not about beating yourself up about it. It's about just recognizing it and saying, yes, I'm ready for more. I'm ready to allow myself to be more in alignment with who I am wanting to become and moving out of a certain situation. But doing that, releasing yourself of any regrets or you know, just any of those guilt or shame, whatever. It's kind of like, it's okay. You know, you did that for a reason. That was on your path for a certain reason. And also understanding there is a new path opening up for you. And it's all up to you to choose which path you'll take. All right, I'm going to leave it there, Sagittarius. I truly love you. Thank you so much for all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.